We first watched Jireh Edwards on this channel back when he committed to Alabama in like July, and he's one of those guys that just stuck in my head. We watched so many recruiting players, so many recruits on this channel this offseason especially. We did a lot of videos, and there's a lot of players that just completely slipped my mind. And, I'll go to make their junior or their senior year tape like a year later, and I'll totally forget that, we already watched them on this channel. Not the case with Jireh Edwards. Such a physical football player. Those are the kind of guys that just stick in your head. The guys that like getting their face in the grill, the guys that really love the game of football. And from a highlight tape, that's what I can tell Jireh Edwards is. Yanze Pierre coming out of UFAL, one of those guys, the high school film was just so physical. He's a hard guy to forget. Kind of in the same group with Jireh Edwards, even though he plays a different position. Just how physical of a football player he is. That's what really jumped out on the junior year film. But talking about the athleticism that Jireh Edwards has, really love the hips that he has and the explosiveness as well. Just has those athletic traits you look for in a cornerback or in a defensive back. I think this dude's a pretty versatile player. I think he's going to end up playing that nickelback, that Husky spot for Alabama, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, the hips are really good. We saw that on the junior year tape. The explosiveness as well. When he comes downhill, he's such a physical football player. It all starts with that trigger that he has. So if he's coming in to help in run support, we're going to see him just light up ball carriers. If he's coming to blow up a route, if he's in zone coverage and he just has to pull the trigger and get downhill, he does that really well. And he's very physical at the catch point as well. You see the ball skills on this as well in man-to-man coverage. He's just such a well-rounded defensive back. I think this is a guy that's going to contribute day one. This offseason, you asked me to name 5 players that are going to have the most contribution as a true freshman in 2026. I think Jireh Edwards is one of those guys, and what I really am encouraged about on this senior year tape, there wasn't that much to really see on the senior year tape because of how good the junior year tape was, in my opinion, but I do think he's put on a lot of weight and put on a lot of strength. I mean, 6'2", 210, it's not a small football player. A lot of these cornerbacks, they're great athletes in high school, and you could just tell they got a while to see the football field just because of how skinny or, how weak they are in high school. Definitely not the case with Jireh Edwards. We're going to turn on some junior year film right now just because this senior year film's pretty short. This is junior year film, just so you guys know, junior year film. So, point I'm trying to make about Jireh Edwards, such a physical football player, and also the schedule that St. Francis plays. This is Duncanville right now. This is Keelan Russell, 5-star quarterback. That's going to be a big part of this Alabama offense, I think, in 2026. That just threw that football, but the schedule that he's playing is definitely tough, definitely one of the best in the country. So I just think that there's a lot of the stars lining up for this dude to be a big part of this Alabama defense in 2026. I've watched a lot of Alabama in 2025. I think this is a guy that could have contributed this season. Deshaun Jones won't be back in 2026. Red Morgan, the other guy in that Husky room, I think he's actually had a better season this year as the season's progressed. You guys let me know, the Alabama fans that watch a lot more football than I do. You guys let me know what you think about Red Morgan. But to me, Jireh Edwards just has the traits you look for. And remember Lottie Brooks coming out of Millville? Latsier Brooks. I hate that I just called him Lottie because he's Latsier Brooks to me anyways. Remember him coming out of Millville last season, another guy for Alabama. Just this offseason, everybody was talking about Latsier Brooks. This guy's so good, in camp and all that kind of stuff. I think Jireh Edwards is going to be like that. I feel like a lot of people are going to be coming back to this video in camp when all the beat reporters are talking about how good of a football player he is. I think that we're seeing that on this junior year film, and then we saw that on the senior year film as well. So, you just see how fluid the hips are on this play right here. Point I'm trying to make, the Husky position. I really think these nickelbacks, it's one of the toughest positions in football because you got to tackle like a linebacker but cover like a cornerback. And we watch so many receivers, the matchup nightmare players. You just watch Kenyon Sadiq at Oregon. Like, they got nickelbacks trying to guard that guy, and he's like 6'4", 240 or whatever he is, 6'5", 240. Very tough position to play. And I think Jireh Edwards has that physicality and the athleticism and the length as well. 6'2". Pretty big football player, like we said before. So I'm really encouraged by all that kind of stuff. I just think the stars are aligning with this dude to be a really good, from the get-go, from the second that he steps into Tuscaloosa. And, you can see him right now, how long he is, but he looks like he got a lot bigger on that first tape we just watched. So that's encouraging. There's one more point I wanted to make about Jireh Edwards. One of my favorite players in this 26 class. I think if you watch all my videos, I don't really say that too often. I definitely lean positive, but this is one of those guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I just really have a hard time seeing him, not being a good football player. I think from day one he's going to be a very good football player. I am so excited about this Alabama secondary, especially these cornerbacks next season. Dijon Lee, as he keeps getting better, just true freshman right now. Zabien Brown, I think, is going to be one of the best cornerbacks in 2026 if he's not in that conversation right now. I do think he's going to be a first rounder in the 2027 draft. So, Jireh Edwards to step into that cornerback room, it's pretty loaded in talent, and I think that Husky position, really what Jireh Edwards was born and bred for, to be honest. But you guys let me know what you think about him. At the end of the day, watch a lot of football teams, so I think Alabama fans have a better understanding of their defense than I do. But, I'm trying to learn. But, I'm just looking at who they have coming back and, what they do well and what Jireh Edwards does well. That's where I think he's going to end up in that nickelback position, just because of how physical and how athletic he is. So a lot of good things going on for Jireh Edwards, I think. You guys let me know. Thanks for watching.